What is your issue with the Nintendo Switch 2?
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I was really hyped for it when I heard that they were going to be launching it.
But that always comes with a tinge of disrespect, right?
I mean, Nintendo. I mean, no disrespect. It's just I see them as gateways because again, Nintendo's how I got into gaming. And then the price tag came. I'm like, absolutely not. Another big reason I don't like the Switch is
Okay, so now we had to address this crazy misinformation arc that has been going on. The Nintendo Switch 2 is currently the fastest selling console of all time. In just 3 short months, it already has a fantastic lineup of games, from amazing exclusives, indie gems, and fantastic third-party support. But if you listen to the Nintendo Switch 2 haters, it's the worst thing ever. It's overpriced, underpowered, and if you buy one, you are part of the problem. Well, today I'm going to sit down with a Nintendo Switch 2 hater and prove to him why he and why they are wrong. But what's up, everyone? This is Justin, and welcome to Just Keep Playing. Please join me today as we tell these Nintendo Switch 2 haters the truth about the Nintendo Switch 2. Welcome, Nintendo Switch 2 hater number one, Squishy Dad. What's up, man? How you doing?
hey, how's it going? I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
That's good. That's good. Thanks for coming on to the show today. So this all pretty much started when we were having a conversation. You were talking about Hollow Knight Silk Song, right? And you praised the team for their story and how they make games with passion and everything. And then I brought up how Nintendo and a lot of their games are made in a similar fashion, to which you gave me that face. You're like, what? So, just a little bit of background between you and I. I've known Squishy Dad here for way too long, quite a few years now. I guess it might be even going past the decade mark here. And
Almost two, yeah.
yeah, and when it comes to fandoms, you've always been on the opposite side of what I like.
Yeah.
If I like Apple, you like Android. If I like Marvel, you like DC. I'm a console gamer. You're all about the PC master race. And yet, we're still friends. But the goal of today here, so look, everybody doesn't have to like Nintendo. That's not the point of today. The point of today is to show you and prove to you the value of the Nintendo Switch 2 and why it is an awesome system, and why it shouldn't just be so easily dismissed and disparaged.
Coming in with an open mind.
That's good. We're all about open minds here. So, just to start things off, so everybody knows a little bit about you, what is your gaming background?
Yeah. So I've been a gamer whole life. Actually, started with a NES, and then
Started with the NES.
yeah, it was I played the original Super Mario Bros.
Yeah.
And from there quickly switched to PlayStation, and then bought my own Xbox, and I've been Xbox ever since.
Yeah.
And then during the pandemic, I got into PC building, and I've been PC ever since then.
Notice how he said had to quickly transition to the PlayStation. But
It had Spyro and Crash Bandicoot.
yeah, no, Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, those are cool. But why was it such a jump where there was an NES in the house and then all of a sudden PlayStation?
Money. I played on the NES that my dad grew up playing on,
Yeah,
and then when they wanted to get us our own console, the PlayStation One had just come out,
yeah,
and they just went with that, and it's like awesome. And then we just kind of stuck with it
yeah.
because I think the next system, Nintendo system we played on was I think it was the Super Nintendo that we found in my grandma's closet that she never opened. So like, hey, let's play this, and it had Super Mario World 3.
So it was on the All Stars pack then.
Yeah.
so, so you're always like just randomly found some random old Nintendo system.
Yep.
Did you ever like actually own and like extensively play any Nintendo systems?
Yeah, we did have a Wii.
Yeah.
So we even then I don't think we played a whole lot. I think that was mainly my brother. He played a lot of Guitar Hero and Wii Sports,
That was it.
and that was it. Yeah. He's the guy that my dad bought that just so the family had something to play, but I had my 360,
Yeah.
and that's I put most gaming hours on the 360.
Yeah. Now 360 that was hype back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So you really don't have like a lot of history or even time with too many Nintendo games. Dude.
Nothing. Pretty much Pokemon's the breath of it. I did forget about their handhelds for a minute there.
Yeah.
So I had like Game Boy Color all the way up to a 3DS,
Yeah.
but just pretty much exclusively Pokemon.
Just all for Pokemon.
Yeah.
that like seems to be like for a lot of people. They're like I don't play a lot of Nintendo, but I like Pokemon. Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, that's good. You know, just getting a little taste of where we're coming from. So, out of all of those Pokemon games, then do you have any that you would consider like a favorite, just as a game from gaming as a whole, across Xbox, PlayStation, PC? Would any of those Pokemon games be one of your favorite games?
This is always such a hard question. I'm so like because I love the Assassin's Creed franchise,
Yeah.
which is always top tier. But right now, like my top game is Baldur's Gate 3.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the Pokemon games, probably it's a tie between Emerald or Fire Red.
Okay. Yeah, those are good. I was all in on the original Red, but I think I was Blue, Pokemon Blue because of the Blastoise. Yeah, you're red, I'm blue.
Yeah.
Strictly for Pokemon, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's because you know I was and am and always will be a huge Ninja Turtles fan. So I had to go with Blue because of Blastoise. I picked Squirtle as my starter and named him Donatello.
Nice.
Yeah. Outside of Pokemon, are there any other Nintendo games that you like?
Smash Brothers and is one I really like. Like I got a lot into Melee because my cousins had a GameCube.
Yeah.
So played a lot of Brawl.
Yeah.
On the Wii. So yeah, I'd say Smash Bros. Is another one, and then Mario Kart every now and then.
Yeah.
But I get bored with Mario Kart pretty easy.
Yeah.
And then I loathe Mario Party.
That's just because you're not playing it right.
I can't skip the tutorial, and like they need a faster game mode. I just want to play. And
so we're gonna have to we're gonna have to play some of the newer one. The newer one I think is really good. Probably one of the, if not the best Mario Party of all time, is definitely up there. And that's one thing we're gonna get to maybe at the end of this thing, is we're gonna see if you guys like this conversation, if you like our little chat here, and if you want to see Squishy Dad back on the channel, we're going to see if he'd be willing to come back and actually spend some quality time on some of these Nintendo games that he's missed and see what he actually thinks about those. Is that something you think? Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later if you would be willing to do that. We'll get to the main gist of everything here, and that is the Nintendo Switch 2 and the look that you had on your face when I had mentioned them, when I dared bring them up alongside of Hollow Knight, Silk Song. What is the issue with the Nintendo Switch 2?
oh, yeah, honestly, I was really hyped for it when I heard that they were going to be launching it. I'm like, this is great. My oldest is just at that right age where I can start introducing her to video games.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo always like their consoles are a perfect gateway into gaming.
See, that's already like yes, I agree, but that always comes with a tinge of disrespect right
I
there.
mean, Nintendo. I mean no disrespect. It's just I see them as gateways because again, Nintendo's how I got into gaming.
Yeah.
Because a lot of their games are simpler, or they have a larger catalog of simpler games. I know they have Bayonetta and all the like. They have complicated games. I'm not calling Nintendo a kids console. They have easier titles to get into. Anyway, so I was really excited for it. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
great. We'll save up. We'll get it for Christmas. It'll be a big family gift. And then the price tag came.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, absolutely not. Like, we're just gonna go build a computer together and do that instead.
So yes, the price tag was a little bit of a shock when it initially came out. Like, I think most people were expecting it to come in at that around the price of where the Switch OLED is at that 350, but at most maybe 400. Um, but I would have liked it to be more at that 400 350 price range, but overall I don't think 450 is too crazy, all things considered. But why was 450 such an insane price to you?
Yeah, because I can get a used like PS5 for that. I can get a computer. Like I can build a computer with her
Yeah.
for that price, and for it not being an OLED, and then I heard that it was the power and equivalency of like a PS4. So it's like Nintendo always seems like they're 2 to 3 generations behind.
Okay, so so that we definitely want to talk about that because so that's people like to bring up the power thing. You know, weak, underpowered. Why should I pay for something that's less than a PS5, PS4? So one like the PS4, that's like what that's over a decade old now. That's way old tech. The Nintendo Switch 2, so it's always harder to say it's equal to power as this system or that system or whatnot because one is using a lot of newer technology in it. So there's different efficiencies that it has that say a PS4 or an Xbox Series or whatever does not have. But I guess when it comes to the eye test, of what it can put out and what you'll be able to see and how it looks comparatively to PC versus PS5 versus the series systems. It's more so in line between, if you want to say maybe a PS4 Pro and an Xbox Series S, but it's able to put out image quality wise things that are pretty comparable to what you're getting from the PS5, Xbox Series X, and the Xbox Series S. Like, yes, it's not as powerful as those, but because of the new technology that it has going on in there, because of things like DLSS, it is able to one, it's able to have games that they didn't have on the PS4, and it's able to have only current gen quality games on it that aren't on the PS4 and definitely would not have been able to be on the Nintendo Switch 2. You have games like the Cyberpunk, which was one of the big games that they were using to show what the system could do. Yes, Cyberpunk was on the PS4 and the Xbox One X and all of those, but the expansion, the Liberty City or whatever, I think they didn't even bother to make that for PS4 just because or the Xbox One X or whatever, just because it just would not have been able to work on it properly. It was already a struggle to get the original Cyberpunk to work well on those. And then you have like even recently a game like Star Wars Outlaws, which was a game that everybody's like, there's no way that this game will be able to like run remotely well on the Switch 2 because it has ray tracing, it has this, it has all of that. Well, Star Wars Outlaws is widely considered to be one of the most impressive um, games, early games on the Nintendo Switch 2, because like yes, it's not like it's not exactly like the PS5 version, but it's pretty comparable, especially for being able to play it anywhere that you want and being able to not only play it on the TV but play it in handheld mode. So the power thing is always you know it's easy to criticize them for the power factor, but I would say that the Switch 2 is probably the most that they've been able to close the gap in quite a long time, and it is definitely a system that, with the technology that it has inside of it, will be able to punch far above its weight class of what you would expect from a little tablet of a console. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Okay. Well, I will have to give that to you. Again, I haven't had any first-hand experience with the Switch 2 yet. So if I trust in what you're saying is true. So,
but like the name says right there, the truth bringer.
So I will concede on that point, but there are a lot of other points for the Switch that are just. There's also like I'm paying $450 and you're saying it's the power of like a PS4 Pro, and like
between a Pro and a Series X.
Yeah.
But then so there's also everything that comes in the box, right? Mm-hmm. Like it comes with the dock. That's not sold separately. It has a dock so that you can connect it to the TV. Technically, it comes with being able to have two controllers right out of the box. You know, to be able to do multi. You can do it. It may not be the most optimum way to do it, but you can split
That's
off.
like I say, you can technically make a quesadilla in the microwave,
no,
but it's not going to be the same. Like,
it's not quite that level, because like literally I've done that where like I just had my Switch or Switch 2 or whatever. I was at a hotel on a work trip and was with one of my friends, and like we had a little bit of time. I was like, hey, let's get some Street Fighter in, and I only had my Switch with the two Joy-Cons. We were able to play some Street Fighter. Like I said, like yes, you're not gonna want to play like hours and hours and hours of Street Fighter that way, but to be able to just kind of like kick back for, a quick 20-30 minutes session, and I didn't have to bring two Pro controllers or any additional accessories, just everything that came with the system itself. I was able to have that multiplayer experience. And comparatively, what other system does what it does at the price that it is able to do it at?
Fair point.
Like you have a lot of the the new PC handhelds and things like that. Like you're gonna pay either around what you're paying for the Switch 2, but without as much that comes in the box with it, or you're going to be paying significantly more than the Nintendo Switch 2. And with this Switch 2, you just got everything right out the box, and you're good to go.
For the most part, so there's a lot of things you said, but there's a lot of points I want. So I'll give you that it is convenient to have two controllers. But one of the things, like you mentioned, the PC handhelds. Another big reason I don't like the Switch is it feels like it has a very limited game category, especially with the PC handhelds coming out now. Because with the PC handhelds, I have access to my entire Steam library, which has games that go on sale, so I'm not constantly paying $69 or $79.
I see the old.
And when you pay more for the games, you're not even getting the game; you're just getting a key to download and play the game.
Okay, so now we had to address this. The one of the big things with the early start of the Nintendo Switch 2 is this crazy misinformation arc that has been going on. So one, Nintendo Switch 2, they have sales as well all year long. So yes, if you don't want to pay a certain price for certain games, you can wait, and there will be a sale on some of those games. And then the key card um, controversy has been, one of the big controversies of this generation so far. But one, if you're going to go the PC handheld route, then we can't even be arguing about digital or even key card things,
That's just
because
the principle of the matter, though.
no, because
People are paying $10 more for basically just the digital. Like, it's just to have you're paying $10 more to have the box.
you're not paying $10 more. You're just paying the price of the game.
Isn't it $10 more for the physical copy?
No. See,
Okay.
the game cost is the game cost, whether it's digital or
See, I was
physical
told
or
the games
key
were
card.
$69.99 digital and $79.99 if you got the physical
See,
cartridge.
this is why I tell you, you can't just go off of these
Are you
people.
telling me the internet lied to me?
Yes. You can't just be going off these people that already have a bias and hate towards Nintendo, and they saw one thing and then they just ran with it, and then when the correct information presented itself, they didn't run to correct their misinformation. The game price is the game price, whether it's digital, whether it's physical, or whether it's a game key card. So if a game costs $69.99, it's going to cost that, whether it's digital or whether it's physical or whether it's key card. If a game costs $80, if it costs $70, if it costs $60, if it costs $50, it's going to cost that price from digital, physical, and key card. Yeah. And so and then the key card, I get it. People aren't the biggest fan of it overall. I don't hate it. It's not my preference. But when we have to clear up this one thing, all of Nintendo's games, unless it's a digital only game, but all of their games are complete on a actual cartridge, a physical cartridge, not a key card. So with all of Nintendo's games, you can just take that game, put it in your system if you have the cartridge, and just play the game. You don't have to download anything. There have been a select few third-party games and indie games that are also on cartridge where you can just put it in. You don't have to download anything, and you can just play the game. Now, yes, a large majority of the third parties are using the key cards for right now. We're just in that kind of early logistics period of a new console, where the manufacturer that Nintendo is working with, according to some reports, they are working to get more of a variety of file sizes. But right now, as far as we know, there's no actual legit reports about it. But as far as we know and as far as we can tell, it seems like there's only a 64 gigabyte cartridge available at this time, and it uses a newer technology than what the original Nintendo Switch cartridges use, because of a lot of Nintendo Switch 2 games being able to have 4K textures, or just higher quality image and audio and all that stuff. So it required a different kind of cartridge to process all of that, and 64 gigabytes is expensive, and yes, a lot of these third-party companies could eat the price if they wanted to, probably, but they didn't even want to do that back on the original Nintendo Switch, where on there the largest file size, as far as we knew, was 32 gigabyte, and they're literally just maybe a handful or more of games that use a 32 gigabyte cartridge. Even on then, there were there were a lot of games that came on cartridge, but there were some games, if they went over that 16 gigabyte file size or whatever, then you'd have to be downloaded something. So um, it's just the state that we're in right now with a new console launch. Like hopefully they can get these different file sizes going, and hopefully when they do that, these third party companies, publishers will be up for using those. But even then, there's no guarantee that that they'll go that route. But yes, not every game. Like that's one thing that everybody wanted to run with. But not every game is just on the key card that you have to download. There are actual physical cartridges with the entire game on it. One of those being Cyberpunk, which they managed to fit that game on a 64 gigabyte cartridge. So yeah, that's one of those, the misinformation arc that the Nintendo Switch 2 has been going through, and which is why you just can't get all your information from Reddit and from from people that love to spread hate and misinformation on Nintendo and Nintendo Switch 2.
Fair enough. That eases some of my worries, because one of the things I like about physical copies of games is I can just I can throw in as long as it's not scratch, I can throw in a GameCube disc now and it'll run.
Yeah.
Like when the Nintendo shut down their 3DS shop, and it's not just Nintendo, to be fair. It's a lot of companies that are just like, hey, here's this service, and then the servers go away.
Yeah.
And then now that's just lost forever. And that's just, I like longevity when it comes to my games.
Yeah. Well, to address that, yes, like the servers have gone away and everything, but even as of right now, going all the way back to the Wii DS era, and then now Wii U and 3DS, any game that you bought, if it was digital or whatever, you are still able to either download that game and still play the game, even though the servers are offline. You still have access to your digital library of games, even though the servers are away.
Okay.
Yeah. So like that was more of that, a lot of fear mongering that people have been doing. Like, yes, like again, game key cards aren't perfect and aren't the perfect solution, and I would love to hear from like Nintendo themselves that, like, for them to like calm some fears for people, to let them know that like we are going to continue to allow access to these games well past the lifetime of the Nintendo Switch 2. It would be cool to hear that from them, to get that confirmation from them. But so far, from what we have to go on, history says that we will still be able to have access to those games as long as we downloaded them for years and years to come at this point in time. Unless, something crazy happens, Nintendo goes kaput and they are completely out of business and they lose everything, then okay, maybe you lose access to that stuff. But that's like crazy end of the world type scenario. Yeah. So what else? What was another one of your issues or concerns with the Nintendo Switch 2 that you heard from some random Reddit thread or YouTuber?
So this was another one that I've heard from a lot of places, not just Reddit, is that Nintendo can just brick your system if you don't use what they want you to use.
See, there it is.
Or if you use this console in the way they don't want you to use it.
No, so again, the misinformation arc continues. I feel like I'm on Twitter right now and seeing. So one, like that whole thing, pretty much. I know, like we're not about what-isms right now. We're talking about Nintendo Switch 2, but that verbiage that people saw and went crazy with, that's a verbiage that pretty much every manufacturer, publisher, whatever, has to say about their product. The main reason why this had become a thing was there was this MiG 29, I think it was called. It was a MiG something cartridge that was clearly being used for a lot of piracy or whatnot. Um, and it wasn't it wasn't that like Nintendo was just going to straight up just like break your console. It was like if they detected something that was piracy related, that they would be able that they could. And yes, like yeah, nobody likes maybe them or any console manufacturer maybe having this power, but it was mainly it wasn't breaking your system where the system was completely unusable. It was that if you use something that was pirated or whatever, and then you foolishly reconnected that system online, then they would be able to restrict your access to using it online, because now at that point, they have no way of being able to protect their other users, because they don't know maybe what you're introducing into their into their files, into their servers or whatever, with this product, that this pirating stuff that you have in there. So it wasn't that your system becomes unusable, it's just that you aren't able to connect with it online. And I guess the one report was that if you bought a used cartridge, and that used cartridge was one of those MIG ones, that you would just automatically lose access. But it was already put out there. Like, yes, it's a hassle and annoyance to go through, but you could call them, let them know, like, hey, I bought this used game, this happened, and they would restore access to your system. Like, yes, maybe not the best way to handle things, but they're doing what they think is the best way to handle things. But again, it's just not a straight up, we will brick everything, And since that report came out of potential for it, there have been zero, zero instances of anything remotely like that even happening.
Okay. I was also hearing, like, if you don't use the right AC adapter, or the right, if you try to use a third party port, it's also going to stop the Switch from working. Like, it seems like they're very anti third party,
Uh,
like accessories and things.
uh, it's not that they're anti third party or whatever. Is that sometimes those things may just not work perfectly. And it may cause issues with your system. It's not that they put something in there to to disable those things or disable those products. There's tons of like third party controllers that people use, like the 8-bit or whatever, however you say it, controllers that people like to use, and a ton of other accessories and stuff like that. So yeah, there's definitely a very healthy third party accessory ecosystem for the Switch 2. It's just sometimes third party products that have to plug directly into parts of the Switch, it just doesn't have Nintendo's guarantee, that it'll um, pr- protect your system. But with the USB C or whatever charging port that the Switch 2 has, people have been able to use chargers that they have with their cell phones or whatever. So that's not a true statement either.
Okay. That's good. So, since we're on the hardware side right now, have they fixed the stick drift that their Joy Cons have? Because I know that was a big issue with the Switch One controllers.
Yeah.
And I've heard reports that they really haven't done anything to improve the stick drift situation. And if I'm going to be buying this for my kids for Christmas, I need to make sure that it can go, can take a small bit of a beating and not, I don't want it going left when I'm trying to go right when I'm steering a Mario Kart.
Yeah. Well, so reports of them not having done anything, that definitely has been misconstrued. I think there were reports or expectations that they might use like the Hall effect thing or whatever, but they didn't use that. But um, with the stick drift, even on the original Nintendo Switch, they definitely offered a service to fix that free of charge for people. You just had to ship it out to them or whatever. But reports of that got less and less as the Switch generation went on, and so far, 3 plus months into the Switch 2 era, I have not seen any reports of stick drift coming from anyone yet, and I've used it extensively. I've been playing crazy like hard games like Hollow Knight Silksong that require a lot of fast paced movement or whatever, where I'm moving that analog stick around like crazy, and it's holding up. So they rebuilt everything from scratch with the for the controller for the Joy Cons for the Nintendo Switch 2, and so far 3+ months in, it's been holding up pretty well.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear because that was definitely a concern. Because
Yeah,
I'm still on the fence about getting a Switch 2 for the girls.
yeah.
Come Christmas, but yeah. The other thing is one of the reasons I switched to PC when my Xbox Game Pass was up. I'm like, oh, now I have to pay to play online. That's lame. So now I'm with PC. I don't have to pay to play online,
Yeah.
and I know Nintendo has their own service for that. And then also, since it has, I think only 250 gigs of memory, you have to pay for an online storage for like extend because you can't add more memory to it, can you?
Yeah, you can use SD cards. I have a 1 terabyte in my Switch 2 as we speak.
So is it a standard SD card? Because I've heard like it's not like it's an XC or like
Yeah,
some
it's
non-standard SD card.
well, it's the new. I had to look up what it is specifically, but it's like the new like Express ones or whatever that because of the type of you know the type of games that it's processing and all of that, it needed to use a next level um, card. It's not so, but yeah, you can buy. There's tons of options out there for it. It's not like a Nintendo Switch 2 specific one that you have to get. You just have to see if it's the Express or whatever it is, or whatever if it's compatible with the Switch 2.
Okay, that's good because I didn't want to pay a monthly subscription to have my game saves.
Well, so yeah, so the subscription part of it is for the cloud saves. Like, yeah, I get it. People don't like that. That's behind the paywall or whatever. But I guess at least of like the three console manufacturers, the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Switch 2 online is definitely the most cost friendly of it. Where if you just get like the basic, it's $20 a year, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were about to say a month. I'm like, that is.
No, it's like it's it's a pretty, in my opinion, pretty reasonable cost. And then there's also even like the family plan as well, where you can like split it between what, like six or so people, I think, and then everybody just pays like a couple bucks um, for the online there. So there are options to be able to have it be a little bit more cost friendly. Like, yeah, I get it. You know, people don't like having to pay for that, especially if they're in that PC realm. But yeah, but they, at least they make an option where it cannot be too crazy if you don't want it to be. Yeah. What other concerns did you have, or misinformation arc things did that you heard from Reddit or random YouTubers or whatever? I say as I'm a random YouTuber.
Yeah. Also, I think that's the majority of them. I know this is a minor one, but their tutorial game doesn't come with the box and you have to pay for it, and I think that's a little silly. Like,
Yeah, like that definitely should have been. Most people agree that should have been a pack in. At least it's only $10, but yeah, it should have been that just should have just been already installed on the system. So I don't know why they made the tutorial, why they made you have to pay for it, but hey, you know what? I just didn't pay for it, so there's that. But I don't know. Overall, I've been really happy with the Nintendo Switch 2. It's pretty much everything that I wanted them to do, going from the original Nintendo Switch to the Nintendo Switch 2. It's the Nintendo Switch, but way better, you know, and way more comparable, at least in terms of being able to handle, as of right now, current gen games than what the original Nintendo Switch was able to do. Where you'd be able to have a much better current gen experience with games like the Star Wars Outlaws, Cyberpunk, even though that was past gen as well, but coming up games like Final Fantasy VII, which is the PS5 version of the game, not the PS4 version of the game. You'll be able to have a good quality experience with games like that wherever you want, on the TV, in my at work, when I'm on my lunch break, in the plane if I'm traveling somewhere. So I've been really happy with it. I like the things that come with the new controller. The mouse mode has been a game changer for games that are able to take advantage of it. Um, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. A lot of really good, really cool games coming out, that are already out and that are coming out, toward for the rest of this year. So yeah, I've been pretty happy with it overall. And look, I'm not one of those that think that Nintendo is above criticism. Like, there's definitely things to criticize. No company, no manufacturer, no platform holder, no anybody is perfect, and there's always room for improvement. But I think from where they came from with the original Nintendo Switch and where they are with the Nintendo Switch 2, they definitely like improved upon it pretty significantly in my opinion.
Okay. And everything you told me definitely sounds like it's definitely. I will need to have some first-hand experience with the games, but I'm more open to maybe getting one for, as a Christmas present this year.
Yeah. And just to set the record, this wasn't a let me sell the Nintendo Switch 2
Yeah.
to Squishy Dad. This was let's just bring the truth. He had mentioned some things, and when we were having a conversation a few days ago, and there were all these points that that I had seen coming across on Twitter all the time, and things that maybe were a kernel of where like, oh, we heard this, but we didn't dig fully into it to see what was going on. So then the misinformation arc spread. Again, like I said, not everything is perfect. I would prefer to have more complete on cartridge games, but I don't hate key cards, but not my preference. But overall, I think the Switch 2 has been great. And the key thing that you said is you want to get some hands on experience. So if you guys have enjoyed this conversation, if you want to see Squishy Dad back on the channel, one, hit that like and subscribe button. And for that hands-on experience, let's hear from Squishy Dad right now. Are you willing to come back to the channel to get some hands-on time with some Switch 2 games, and let us know what you think about them?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming onto the channel today. It's been good to have you on. Were there any other concerns or anything else that you wanted to say about the Switch 2?
I wish the screen was OLED. That's another. I wish it was an OLED screen to start.
Yeah, I get it. I wish it was too. I will say that for it not being OLED, it is pretty. Like, yes, you can tell the difference between the Switch OLED and the Switch 2, but that screen, I think it's a really good screen, really good. It looks great to me, to where like I haven't missed the OLED since I've had it, and like I traveled a lot with my original Nintendo Switch and Switch OLED, and then I've traveled a lot this year with my Switch 2, and I've enjoyed the experience, and while I was playing, I wasn't like, man, I wish this was OLED right now. I just had a good time playing my games.
Yeah, I would appreciate you clearing up a lot of the misinformation that I apparently had.
Happy to do it. That's what we do here at Just Keep Playing. We bring the truth. We tell you the truth. And if there's something to criticize, if there's something that we need to talk about that isn't right, that isn't good, we will bring the truth about that too. Um, but thank you, Switchy Dad, for coming to the show. And until next time, for more Nintendo Switch 2 goodness, check out this video right here. And until next time, I'll see you later. Have a good one. Peace.